having a profitable dental practice, a profitable growing dental practice, or for that much any other type of dental practice or for that much any other business, and still having time for private life, having time for family, having time to do hobbies, to do sports, to do traveling, to do and start maybe other businesses is easy, is super, super easy. Has no one ever said before. Will probably no one ever say. Hi, my name is Helmut Flash, and I do consult dentists and other practitioners, mainly dentists, and all kinds of other businesses, small and large, but mainly dentists, for 35 years. And it has never really been easy to grow a dental practice. A dental practice is something which demands a lots of knowledge, of course, a lots of personal interaction with staff members, with patients. It demands people being on the spot right there and then at the right minute all the time. Growing a dental practice is not easy, but it is doable. It is doable if one, like with everything else, knows what one is doing a little bit. You see, me being a mechanical engineer from profession, a tool maker, and having made models for big turban shovels and things like that, if I would attempt a root canal and then say root canals don't work because the patient, it doesn't do so well or whatever, trying to do crowns, periodontal surgery, and all kinds of other things and trying to make a treatment plan, it doesn't work so well. You doctors probably know that we patients, we come in today because of the internet, we know more than you guys, right? Right. So nevertheless, that treatment doesn't necessarily work so well. That's because of that dentistry or medicine not work, simply because laymen's, people who know nothing about it or not enough about it, cannot do it. I'm sure, doctor, you have hired people, doctors, who, or have seen them if you haven't hired them yourself, and have been maybe, if you're very honest, at one point been such a guy who didn't quite know how to do it very well, how to not to do everything very well. Okay, the best tools, the same tools than everyone else, the same drill, the same high-tech equipment, whatever it is, and a guy doesn't do so well. Now imagine not having gone to school, not knowing about things, forget the, going to school as such, but not knowing about it, and then claiming it doesn't work. And yet, dear dentists, dear doctors, dear smaller business people, that is what most of you are constantly doing. You try to reinvent the wheel because you're business owners. You actually think you know how to run a business, and some of you do, no doubt about it. But even the ones who do, even the world champions of business, they still take advice from other people. They don't necessarily take all the advice they're always getting from the other people, but they're open. They're open to learn. For instance, from Warren Buffett to Bill Gates and to probably everyone else, including Elon Musk or whatever. Those people are readers. Leaders are readers. They read one book a day, a nice little book, most of it on business, on this, on that, on whatever it interests them, but it has something to do with it, meaning they are learning. They're constantly talking to other people about it. It's time, it's money, it's thing. I personally, in my own business consulting for 30 years, if I tell you the money I spend on courses and classes and the time I spend, you probably call me an idiot. This isn't so difficult. Well, maybe I am. Maybe I'm slow and need more of that learning shit. But we need it. Doctor, the best sports people in the world, the best singers in the world, everybody in the world has not one, but many, many, many coaches. They may have a coach for running fast if they are runners. They may have a coach for attitude. They may have a coach for not getting into depression, whatever it is. And yet most small business people know it all. Now, dentists, which is maybe one of the reasons we consult dentists. There are two reasons we consult dentists. Why it is, why it's good. Number one, you sell high-ticket items or we show you how to sell high-ticket items. and or we show you how to market for patients who in the end can take high ticket items, which means the money you give us, the money you spend on marketing comes back relatively fast versus if you're a private practitioner and you get insurance patients and you get your $50 per 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes visit, and there's not much we can do, there's not much we want to do. Dentist is different. And then there's the other things. Dentists are a little bit more willing to say, yeah, there's a few things I don't know. You understand? And by doing so, they're a little bit more willing to kind of learn and do something. The amount of business owners who believe they know everything and because of it, don't do anything like a restaurant owner or stuff like that. And I'm very good in restaurants owner. I've worked in the restaurant business for 20 years and currently I'm running a rather large building, running a rather large events place on a lake with weddings and parties for 600 people in one shot and things like that. I love the business. And yet most restaurant owners who struggle the shit out of it, they know business because they do this for 20 years. Practice makes perfect. So they say, of course, don't. Practice makes you so correct. Practice makes you perfect. But it only makes you perfect in how you're doing it. And if you're doing it wrong, you get really good at doing it wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, running a dental practice is not the easiest thing in the world. Running no business is the easiest thing in the world. Creating a wonderful marriage is not the easiest thing in the world, has no one ever said also. But it is all possible with the right tools. And let me ask you one more thing, doctor. What about if we could, help you with that? If we just could, would it be worth an hour to spend with us? Would it be worth an hour to spend? Would it be worth, let me ask you this, would it be worth to spend every week, twice a week, an hour with some type of consultant, some type of God only knows what we people call ourselves for 1 year? 100 such hours spent on only trying to find out, and maybe after 1 year, one of the guys like, oh, wow, we can do it, and you believe, and it actually then works. Wouldn't that be actually worth it if somebody can heave you into a new range, whatever range you want to go? Not everybody wants to go this way, and not everybody, whatever range you would get. And here's the extra thing. What about if I tell you that when we set you up, because the new age of marketing, the new age of how to attract people and to work obviously is on the internet. So we need to set you up with a wonderful internet-way system. But if you're not involved in the social, in the media, in the storytelling, if you're not involved, then the not easy will be very true for you. It will never happen. But that's beside the point. But what about once we have you set up, what about if then we can use that very same setup in marketing, which is like for you 20 miles around you or 50 miles around you or wherever you live and wherever you have your practice, whatever radius you are creating patients. What about if that very, very, very same setup can then be used to make money on the internet worldwide? Because keep in mind, it's called the WWW, the World Wide Web. Okay, the web actually wasn't developed for doing things 50 miles around you. It works for it, but it's like an atomic bomb. It's like 20 atomic bombs using to shoot a fly down. That's what it is in relation. So what about if we could set you up like that? And what about if while you increase your business, double it and triple it, which is most likely what we manage, because we have done that for 30 years, within a year, about, give or take, sometimes a little faster, sometimes a little later. Sometimes it takes us 2 years, okay? Because it ain't easy. Simple, but not necessarily easy. I got that. I have to fight myself to do all the things I know and teach you the same way to stay alive, to be growing, to be happy, to be all those things. I have the same problem which I'm trying to help you with. Don't get me wrong. I'm just a little more in control over it because I kind of know what's going on. Just like you know what's going on in the health field, you're still going to be subject to having the flu, subject to having constipation, subject to getting a cavity, whatever it is. But because you're a doctor, you can usually help yourself a little bit better through it. Same here. But what about, if while we grow, you double, triple your business, which we have done constantly and regularly, not always with everybody, but constantly and regularly, uh, majority of it, if in that very same time, in about a year down the road, you are also set up to start making money on the World Wide Web, on the internet. There are lots of ways how to do it. And just like there's lots of ways how to make money in a practice, you very, very obviously will need to kind of pick a direction. We, of course, help you picking those directions because it's really rather simple. Just imagine not being changed to a dental practice, not being changed to time, not being changed to a place, okay, and not being changed to a product or service, and not being changed to any location where you can sell it. So all of a sudden you can pick items, services, whatever it is, because the whole world, every producer of a service or of a product needs and wants to help with sale. Today, this is called usually an affiliate program. Usually it's like you're selling a bottle of wine for somebody who produces it or somebody who is wholesaling it. Doesn't really matter. The guy who clicks on the ad for that wine bottle doesn't give a damn who put that ad out. He goes to the wine company, purchases it there. The wine company, actually the internet company, the broker in between, so to say, sends you your commission. Okay? No investment in such. Yes, you do lay out the marketing money. Imagine you have no limit on product, no limit on where the product be sold, which means you can choose whatever product currently sells well somewhere, because that changes all the time, sometimes in 3 months, sometimes in 3 years, but it changes all the time. The internet makes it the flexibility of all flexibilities of all flexibilities. And imagine you can do that whether you are in your backyard at home, whether you are taking a break in the office, whether you are on vacation or whatever it is somewhere else. Now, imagine that. And that while you have built your practice. So basically, this is a bonus program which we put in, which is for all purpose completely and utterly free, because we're using that pickup truck to deliver all of a sudden things in the whole world. That infrastructure, that road, if maybe it's a better analogy, which we're building for you to create business and things in your business, in your practice, will be able to create your money from outside without ever you being involved in any kind of thing. I mean, you're involved, but without you needing to build extra type of thing. And of course, in our dental practice management and promotion, we don't take care of new patients only. We take care of that the percentage of them selling a little bit is better. We take care that the percentage of them returning is a little bit better. We take care that the percentage of their referrals is a little bit better. Actually, a lot better. We are really freaking good in having people coming back and people referring. 30 years ago, when we started this whole program, those were probably my two main methods of creating and doubling people's practice. It wasn't really the more new patient. I mean, that also, but those two alone, I can actually work and guarantee it. And again, new technology, new ways of, outsourcing sources, basically taking advantage of the forces of working people from around the world, which work for a very minimum of money and yet good money for their country. And them using for what you normally would have to pay in your office, people and staff and everything, using that whole synergy together. This is what we do. Ladies and gentlemen, if you work with us, you work not with, like in the old days, you have a computer programmer who does your networking, you have somebody who fixes your software in the computer, you have somebody who fixes your hardware, and all three, everybody was blaming everyone else on how it is. No, you have a one-stop office. We kind of do that all. And yes, we take advantage of the modern way of doing business, which means we are never short of personnel. We will make you not being short of personnel, okay? This is all a matter of together. Give us an hour. As I said, if you would spend 100 people 1 hour in the next year, and only one of them somehow does more or less what I'm telling you to do, you would be coming ahead out as a big, big winner. Click, set an appointment with us, and talk to me. Bye-bye.